welcome back to the Win with Dice podcast, a podcast featuring members of the Win with Dice team. I'm Calvin, and I'm joined here by Ramon.
What up, you DM nerds? And friends. My friends are nerds.
Of course, it's the best kind of friend to have.
Yeah, it's like not all nerds are my friend, but all my friends are nerds, so... Welcome, friends.
Yeah, it's a rectangles and squares situation.
Hey, Calvin, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. I realized how spoiled we are yesterday. I was having this conversation. I realized you and I, the two of us, were super spoiled.
I know, definitely.
Because we get to be in so many amazing tabletop RPG games, which is sort of what this podcast is about. It's about tabletop RPG games, playing them, running them, and all sorts of things we gain from those experiences.
Yeah, making the DM screen, the other side, feel a little bit, easier or less mysterious. Something that you, I'm talking to you, there, potential DM/GM, who's been wondering, like, hey, maybe I could give this a shot. And, well, we're here to tell you it's pretty easy. I mean, it's not easy, but it's doable.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, when we say easy, like, it doesn't mean simple or, well, I don't know how to say it, like, but yeah, you're right. Like, it's doable. Like, it's nothing impossible, and like, you're more likely to find, rather than it being impossible, you're more likely to find that you're gonna do something unique that the people you're playing with hadn't thought of before, or you're going to bring some sort of flavor to the game that they're not used to yet.
Yeah, and they're gonna love whatever you put in front of them because you put your heart and soul into it. Your little perfect little game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this week we've got some Pathfinder games to talk about. They're both very different. One based off a D&D 5th edition adventure. One based off a magical school. We're gonna get into both of those, get into everything that happened in those games, just because we want to give shout outs and appreciation to the GMs who are running those games and how awesome they are at it. Definitely just want to get into all those special things about those games. But first, before we do that, we have to get into the special part of our show, which is the Win with Dice weekly GM tip of the week, brought to you by Ramon, which is now the full title of the section of the show.
Yes, all you little DM proteges, I'm here to put some straight knowledge straight to your domes through your ears. Yeah, that's what I'm saying right now. I can tell I have a lot of energy this week, but so for this week's tip, what were we talking about, Calvin?
I guess we did talk about this is going to come up when we get to the second session that we were talking about. But you don't necessarily have to roll all the time to have a good session. Like, it doesn't have to be dependent on making multiple checks and stuff like that. You don't have to feel forced into a combat situation if you don't want to be. They are useful if you need to, eat up some time for a bit or something like that. But you don't necessarily have to feel like that's something you have to do. Because you can have a whole session, because I've had whole sessions like this, and it's like some of the beginning of our other session was like this, where it wasn't very dice heavy, but there was still a lot of roleplay involved, there were still puzzles involved, and yeah, that's still a great session because you get to sit in these characters for a bit, and that's sort of for me, that's certainly the fun of the game. I think for a lot of people, that's the fun of the game, is just hopping into another character's boots for a while, and then just enjoying that among your friends.
All right. Well, maybe this tip is brought to you by Calvin.
Oh, sweet. I mean, I'll take credit for it. I don't mind. This is my I don't know how many now. I don't think I'm up to 5 yet of tips that I said.
And I have the rest of them. But yes, so Calvin, you're totally right. You don't need to roll any dice to have a great session. Often I think of some of the tense moments and fun moments in our at least my RPG career as a player is negotiating or just kind of running around town or like, getting into trouble with just like, talking to NPCs and planning out with the party what the next steps are, or, just kind of goofing around and having fun as characters, like living in that world for a little bit. It's great. And like, you don't have to pressure yourself as a DM to be like, hey man, I don't got any counters prepared for today. Let's just hang out and role play. Right. I think like it is a little bit, intimidating to just have like a role playing session because, it's weird. It's like, I guess I pictured it as like real time, right? So it's like things kind of like you chew through content within real time. So it's like you're like a conversation can be, you don't know how long a conversation is going to be, right?
Right.
Like negotiating with an NPC could be done in 10 minutes and then it's like, well, that should have taken all night or something, right? So it is a little scary, but I think most times like players just like to be their character, right? I mean, you put a lot of love and effort into like building your character the way you want it. You want to sit there and kind of like express them. Even the player who doesn't like to role play too much, who's a little bit quieter at the table, I mean, giving them the chance to kind of think in their character or speak out of like give the voice to that character, right? Giving those people those opportune moments, just because like in a longer narrative session where you're just role playing, they don't have to feel like they're stepping on like the actor's toes or something like that, the person who just like wants to be like the party face or whatever, right? Because there's so much time that's devoted to it, so you have enough time to like kind of get a couple one-liners in there, or like maybe say opinion that's like controversial and have like an argument with another player or an NPC, so yeah, man, try inputting some sessions where it's just kind of like you guys are just chit-chatting for a little bit, and it's kind of fun. I mean, I know that the group that we hang out with, everyone is a bunch of comedians, so
True.
It's mostly just kind of silliness and laughs, and it's a good time all around.
Yeah, definitely. It is going to be a group dependent thing, but I mean, just speaking from experience, I think you'll get a lot of traction with just those heavy RP moments. And that is our tip of the week, brought to you by the both of us, I guess.
All right, let's jump into these recaps. But actually, wait, before we do that, I would like to ask you guys to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video or enjoy that recap, or if you just like us. If you don't like us, also like us.
Yeah, show us what for by putting a like on the video.
Yeah. Also, if you disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. Actually, I don't mind disagreeing with people online. It's okay. I think it's having a conversation is the important part.
Yeah, just don't be rude about it. All right.
Just don't be rude about it.
Let's get into these. So, first up, we're going to talk about the Lost Mine of Phandelver, or Tim Delver, as you've been calling it.
That's what it is. It's Tim Delver.
That's not what it says in my notes. The
notes
journey
are wrong.
that are... Oh, no. They better not be. The journey that our characters have been on. Lots of harrowing things have been going on thus far, but currently we were in the ruins of the town of Thundertree, recovering from a battle with a dragon, which did not entirely, well, I mean, I don't want to say it entirely didn't go our way. We certainly lived. That's how I would sum up that battle. We are alive.
Yeah. It was an unorthodox approach to dragon combat, I think.
Yeah, but you can't argue with results, right? Any dragon fight you can walk away from.
Yeah, it's a good dragon fight. True.
So yeah, we survived this battle with the dragon just barely. I know I was in a rough shape. We were going to finish off like the last little bit of ruins in the town, just investigate everything, before meeting up with the druid Rydoth, who had taken up residence here, and he would show us the way to Cragmaw Castle, which is something that we were looking for, as well as being the location of a former ally of ours who had been kidnapped. Well, not former ally, former as in past. It's just been a while since we saw him because he got kidnapped. So we rested up, we finished off things in town, which included going to an old herbalist shop with a broken sign. That, I didn't put together what it was, but we only saw like Ist and Op in the sign. And then I think it was Corey who realized it, if I'm remembering correctly. That it was for a herbalist shop.
Oh, okay. I knew one of them was the herbalist shop because previously we rescued a family that was taken by the Red Brands, right? And they said like, hey, there's an herbalist shop in Thunder Tree. Go there, and there's like a treasure that you can claim for yourself for rescuing our lives, right?
Yeah. And part of me was like, oh, I feel like we should give this heirloom back to them. But also, I mean, they were thanking us for the rescue. I guess. I don't know. My character's been leaning too good for me lately. Because I kind of wanted her to be... I don't know who's carrying it right now, actually.
Yeah. Well,
I
to
just
be
know
fair,
it's not
Calvin,
me.
all of your ambiguous characters are just kind of good and does like one bad thing like maybe a month. Like
Exactly. It's every time I try, because Helen was supposed to straight up be a pirate, and then she's like, "Oh no, don't worry, I will save your stupid town."
She's like the word. She's like literally like the only good person on the boat, in my opinion.
Oh,
like, out of all the PCs, she's totally the hero of the story. Not like of the story, but like, you know, she's the one that's like, we should probably do some good, and everyone's like, let's go steal from a dragon. Forget about that place. It's already burnt down.
And then now Teeks, who I was gonna be like, she comes for like her mother's a sea hag, so she has some conflict with like wanting to do evil, and she's got storm sea magic and stuff like that. But now she's like the team mom, and she's a big softie.
Cause like her, yeah. Well, I mean, you could explore it as like that's just Teague's just trying to do good by her, right? Because her mom sucks, so maybe she's like, maybe I'll just be a better person. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not her fault that Teeks is kind of evil. I mean, she's like part hag, right? So it's like kind of hard. Those things are like naturally evil, I guess, if you could want to go into the semantics of that. But like, yeah, it's like, you know, Teeks could just be like, yeah, I'm actually just gonna be a good mom to some people because I didn't have a good mom because my mom was a hag. And hags suck at moms, being a mom. And, like, they eat children and stuff. That's probably not a good mom thing, right?
Probably not. Yeah, I don't know. Even Drake was supposed to be a bit conflicted, but you know, he died saving someone. So I don't know. Maybe one day I'll play an evil character.
Well, he died kind of standing in front of somebody.
Well, he was helping someone pulling them out of a thing in the sewer, then he got stabbed in the behind.
Yeah, that's true. It's because you like, you know, you didn't run away, right? But you just kind of stood there, and I was like, well, I mean,
yep,
you're standing right there. I think this man's gonna stab you. You know, a couple critical hits and a couple critical fails later, there's a one dead Drake just floating down the sewer.
Oh man, that guy. But speaking of standing right there, we did see a weathered wooden statue in town, and our ranger Bren gave the statue a look and said, "I'm watching you," to which the statue was completely unresponsive.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Thalum, our fighter, he was investigating another building, just knocking heavily on the door until the door was smashed down by a new axe that Bren got. And inside we found some zombies, some ash zombies that kind of let out these little like puffs of ash and dust when they got hit. So, you know, we had to deal with those. I was pretty low health, so I was staying out of it, but everyone else was kind of like crowding up in there, so it's like, you know, whatever, I'll let it happen.
Yeah, it's like, you know, Silverona would like open up doors and then run away immediately.
Basically. So we dealt with those last few zombies. There's nothing in there but some rotten barrels and some rat poop.
We're like so sad. We're like, what do you mean there's nothing in here?
You can use the poop.
You can use the proof. Yeah.
And then we once again immediately split up after that because there were like another 3 buildings to clear out, and we didn't decide which one to do. Everyone just looked at the building and was like, "Oh, I'll go do that one." So we ended up splitting up again. So Teeks and Bren were at one, Thalum and Kavo, a barbarian, at another, and Silverona was on his own. Rolled a pretty low stealth, and and he ran some more of those twig jacks. Those small wooden creatures that messed up Teeks and Thalum a while back.
Thank God I rolled high in my initiative. I immediately cheesed it out of there.
You sure did.
I was like, I'll use all my actions, get out of there. I'm like, nope, gotta go find my friends. I don't want to fight you guys right now.
But yeah, we managed to fight them off. Although there was one that like lasted kind of long. It got pretty lucky. with the attack rolls on it. Which, you know, it's always the way. You have that one low-level enemy that's like, oh, they'll probably be cleared pretty quickly. And then just somehow, the probability is on their side.
4 turns later, this man is a martial god and is just completely dodging this guy, all the attacks. Enter Ultra Instinct mode and just like...
Yeah, I mean, when it's the last one standing, it's probably got something to prove. But yeah, we cleared out the town, we met up with Radoff, who was already packing up, and then we headed off to the Cragmaw Castle, which required a journey through a forest with a day of travel. So, you know, we rested up, we traveled, we did some healing, which some of us needed a whole lot. And then on a particular night during a rest, Silrona was on watch. And he managed to hear something, and his immediate reaction was to wake up Kavo.
Yeah.
So the two of you...
scary on his own, to be honest with you. And then, but specifically it's because, you know, like, we woke up and I was like, Tim was like, yeah, you see the air of a goblin. And I was like, oh, it's just goblins. Like, Kavo could just do that by himself. So then I just get him awake.
I mean, fair enough.
I think there was like 4 goblins or something like that, maybe 6, and I was like, hey, there's goblins over there, and he like raged, ran in there, eviscerated 2. He killed one and eviscerated the other one, like, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then all the goblins are just like, nope.
Yeah, very, very graphically tore it in half.
Yeah, not worth. Which again, Tim's game is pretty graphic. Every time it's just like, can't handle this right now.
And then at the end, like, you
also, I appreciate it, but it's like also like, oh man, gore.
What I liked is that, like, you said nothing when we were having breakfast the next day. Like, just you didn't say anything about it at all.
Yeah. I love that everybody's trying to roll initiative, and I was like, nope. No one needs to be here. It's okay. Just Kavo can do it.
Yeah, because I was. Thinking,
I didn't even do anything.
I was thinking like he'll probably wake us up, and if this fight starts off, and like, nope, we're gonna handle it, and you handle it. So.
Yeah, I really like. I was like, I really just don't think that they had the stuff to really even bother with us. I think the fight would have actually took longer if everybody woke up. Look, it's so weird it sounds. Like, yeah, but you know, Kavo display of blood and gore and being like, don't fuck with us, right? The goblins to run away, and then we had breakfast the next day, and nobody was the wiser.
I wonder if they're gonna regroup and come back.
I mean, I'm assuming that these goblins actually live in Cragmore Castle, because
fair enough. Yeah.
Spoilers: when we got to Cragmore Castle, there was like a bunch of goblins.
Yeah, I don't know. We pissed off a whole lot of goblins today.
Yeah. Also, I think it's so weird that Cragmore Castle is a castle that's like in a valley.
Yes, yeah, like, that's why we couldn't find it. Like, it wasn't something like up on a hill or looking over an area or something like that. It was so well hidden because it's in this dense forest and it's in the middle of like this dip. So the tops of the towers are like below the tree lines.
So you couldn't see it if you were just trying to scan across, which I thought was like kind of weird, but I guess you kind of want it to be hidden away. So like, you know, people couldn't get to you, or like you'd be a secret spot or something like that, but strange. Normally castles are at higher places because it's hard to run up a hill and take a castle, right? Like the higher you are, the harder it is to get to you.
True, but if
hey,
you want to
I don't know,
keep your castle hidden.
I didn't make the place. Yeah, if you want to keep the castle hidden, you know.
Because, you know, being on a hill, you also get to show off.
It's true. Well, anyway, we got to the castle and immediately split the party again.
We keep doing this. Party.
I think Tim's just comfortable with it. So now I think we're all just comfortable with it. We're like, yeah, we'll be fine. There's like 5 of us, right? So it's like, you know, there's Team A and Team Stealth, right? So it's like,
oh, is that what it is?
I think it's always something else in Team Stealth or like Team SWAT.
Yeah, I don't know why I elected to be on Team Stealth, because it's not like my stealth is any good. Like,
neither is Kavo, but you guys are like, let's go to the side, because you're like, you know, you know, we need to like, you know, FBI open up this place, because like.
That was the idea. So yeah, Teeks and Kavo took a side door. Silrona, Falem, and Bren took the front door. and everything was going average until Bren got hit by an arrow. And that's when things started really kicking off. Thalum and Silrona headed inside. Silrona kicked a door down, like the cowboy he is.
Just like blew up somebody with a produced flame. He was like, bang!
Yeah, he just stormed in. Kavo and Teeks, though, heard some very strange sounds. They heard some singing. And this will kind of get to one of the things I wanted to talk about with this game, which was this really interesting NPC that Tim had. But we will see them when we get inside, because right now there's some goblins attacking. One went after Silrona. It got like a negative roll because of how Pathfinder attacks work if you try to do multiple attacks in a turn. So its sword got stuck in a wall. Bran was doing unarmed attacks. Thalum set off a trap. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say Tim loves it when when the attacks go to like 1 or negative, like something terrible happens to the person. Like, so it's like, oh man, like your sword totally gets stuck into like in between the masonry of the brick wall, and it's just like it's just like sucks to suck, dude, and just like blew that goblin away. Or I think who got it? I think it was like Bren came around and punched him.
Yeah, Bren is for a ranger with a bow. His unarmed attacks are like incredible because he has such a great attack bonus somehow. He just smashes everything down.
I think that if she was listening, I think Bren should just be like a monk or something instead, or like a fighter who's able to like punch things. I think that like the ranger class is like okay as like a class, but like Chibi never like barely uses any of the ranger stuff, and like I think they're a little hard to use in Pathfinder too. In my opinion, but like I don't think it matters because Bren is just a monster on his own somehow, and like Chibi's like rolling max damage for Bren's punches all the time anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But I think it's hilarious.
Like all our luck is basically focused in Bren's unarmed attacks.
Bren's unarmed attacks.
So yeah, Bren is windmilling his way through these guys, but at some point, Thalum, he ended up setting off a trap, which caused some debris and garbage to fall down from a tripwire, and reveal that there were more goblins waiting further inside. So while that was going on, the team at the side door was trying to find a way in, because the side door was actually an iron door that was not coming down. So I finally got to use my pest form spell. And I turned into a little roach.
Yeah, and then Kavo yeeted you into the room.
Yeah.
Through like an arrow slit.
I got totally dunked into an arrow slit. Fortunately, Kavo has really good aim, so I just flew in and I ended up in a kitchen. The kitchen was full of goblins, and as well as a singing goblin chef. And we saw the image of this goblin chef who had like this thin mustache and was carrying a cleaver,
and a bandolier of like of garlic.
Yes.
And
by the name of
so
Jin Hen's son, the goblin chef, who was a very interesting and unique character that I don't know, he was just I don't know how this happened, but he was a really awesome character.
Tim based him off of the Swedish chef from
Muppets, yeah.
The Muppets.
Hence the name
Muppets, right?
of Jin Hen's son, as in Henson. Although this goblin was literally Hen's son, like Hen apostrophe S, because he was his backstory was like he was raised by chickens out in the wilds until he met more goblins, and it was like, oh wait, I can just cook these chickens. So he's Jin Hen's son because he's the son of a hen, I guess. There's also some goblin cooking involved in his backstory, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, well, he was also kneading some dough with another goblin's knees.
Yeah,
so,
that I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he was kneeing some dough, right? But yeah, so the room was full of goblins, and a suspicious cockroach, as Silrona pointed out, as the team A work their way through Crackmore. Falum and Solrona busts into the kitchen while Bren goes and deals with some goblins that appeared behind us. Mooting them, punching them out pretty much, which is bonkers still. Falum being the absolute tank he is. Solrona, I think, actually got pretty lucky a whole bunch. Like, no one really hit him.
Yeah, very lucky.
As we kind of did some stuff. Yeah. All the meanwhile, like, I don't understand what this iron door is made out of, but
it's a real strong door.
It's a real strong door, but our friend Kavo was stuck outside by a door.
Yeah.
I mean, this man kills, like, nearly not one shot, but like does like horrific damage to a dragon, but can't get through this iron door.
I mean, if the dragon was made of iron, then that would have been a problem. So yeah, that was the intent of setting Teeks in there as a pest, to go crawl over to where the door is, get it open, and get Kavo in there. And that's basically what I was doing, but as an insect I had really low speed. So basically it took me an entire turn to get to the door and to transform. And I was like, okay, as soon as I get that door open, I'm going to unleash Kavo. There's going to be hell in here. Unfortunately for me, I basically ended up trapped with my back to this iron door and facing 2 goblins and 2 hobgoblins.
Ooh, hobgoblins.
Yeah, the goblins didn't really do too much, but the hobgoblins, they both hit, one of them landing a crit. So again, Teeks was in pretty rough shape. But managed to get the door open for Kavo, who, like, barreled in, started killing dudes as Teeks went to hide and heal up. And that was around the time that Falum, he took care of that chef very incredibly. Disarmed the chef's cleaver with his shield. I believe he got a crit on that disarm because he took the cleaver and then made an attack on the chef, managing to roll enough damage to kill the chef in one turn, which was...
I think we're like... Yeah, he like knocks the cleaver out of the chef's hand, like, flips through the air, grabs it, and just whoosh, just like, he's done.
But yeah, super impressive.
Epic. And then then immediately Tim was like, I did an hour's worth of work figuring out that character, and Fallon just kills him.
Yeah, because he had the backstory, he had the accent, he had the songs and everything. And then he just got smoked in one round. And yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about, like, setting up stuff that just gets, completely derailed, because that is such a DM thing. Players coming along, you have these ideas, and then they're just suddenly, well, I guess I don't need this anymore.
To be fair, I was thinking I think it's funny. Yeah. Tim was on the money. I think most of us were like, yeah, we should capture him and convince him to be our chef, right? Because that'll be hilarious, right? And Tim was like, I think these dudes are gonna do that, right? Except he didn't think Fallon was gonna be an OG and just like, like, lol, this is a quick time event. Get wrecked, like.
I don't know if Fallon would have been into that idea. He certainly didn't seem like it. But yeah, I was thinking of, because I know you don't watch Critical Role, but there was one point in their second campaign where Matt was all prepared to have this major sea battle. Like, he had all the ship stats and rules and everything ready. And then one of the players had done, like, I believe it was like a whirlpool spell or some sort of major move water spell or something like that. And after a few checks, it ended up capsizing the enemy ship. So he had just like, well, I'll just get rid of all of this. It was just
toss out all of the ship battle notes. So good,
it was just so
like
hilarious to me, because I don't know, I like a lot of people, I put a lot of importance on Critical Role, so just seeing that particular, like, relatable foible on there, I don't know, it was just really funny.
Yeah, I think we've discussed on the show too about, like, what to do when the players just kind of upheave your plans. You guys kind of go with the flow. I mean, yeah, man, it's pretty dope. If that person wasn't able to cast that spell or whatever, and you didn't fail those checks, then you would be having a cool, pirate ship ship to ship game, you know what I mean? But now it's just you gotta see this catastrophe happen. All these poor people just drowning. You're like, ooh.
It is. That's like it's one of the best. Yeah. It's what I like most about this kind of game. Like, I don't know, in a story or video game or whatever, you would just be doing the ship fight, but because you're players and you have so much control over the worlds, you can change what happens. So yeah, even though from a DM perspective, you might go out of your way to prepare something, the players are still going to be able to influence the world in such a way that those preparations might suddenly become irrelevant as they get struck down by a cleaver.
Yeah. Well, that's when twins come into play. He was actually a twin. You just you're like, hey, now he's on a vengeance quest.
Maybe there's a hen's daughter out there or something. I don't know. Yeah. That guy was taken care of. Silrona cast light, and he cast it on his hat. So he had a glowing cowboy hat as he went to check out some other parts of the room he was in, and was suddenly attacked by tentacles. And a beak. Yeah. Bren just caught up with Kavo and got into combat. Teeks managed to get some. I dropped a flaming sphere on the hobgoblin that got a crit on me, and I burned that dude down. Kavo took on the other one. Falm and Bren came in, just kind of cleared out the rest of the room, while Silrona was dealing with a snake monster. And we get into another thing that I wanted to mention, which was, so Flaming Sphere, the way it was written, and from where we were, like, when we finally were able to loop around and link up with where Silrona was, getting attacked by this tentacle monster, what I wanted to do was move the Flaming Sphere and just drop it under the monster so the monster gets hit and has to make it save and everything. And the way the spell is written, it, at least from what I understood, it doesn't do damage until it gets to the end square where it's going to be dropped off. But like for Tim, like that didn't really make sense because like if you're moving this Flaming Sphere around, then everybody should be at risk, and I had to move it through some player spaces because there were some doors I had to get through. So it made more sense for him that they would also have to roll saves for that. And I think that is perfectly fine. Like with these games, like they do have the rule sets in there that sort of create a specific like sense of tone. Like with Pathfinder, they want to create this tone of like a magical fantasy world, or with other games, they want to create like a superhero world or fighting giant mechs and stuff like that. So like these large overarching rules, there's some things you might want to keep in place if you want to keep the tone of the game. But the more minute stuff, like how the specific mechanics of a spell works, I think GMs should definitely feel free to change those if it makes more sense a certain way for them. Like if you picture the Flaming Sphere spell as a literal sphere that's moving along the ground towards its target and has to move through someone else's area, then that person is going to be at risk from the big ball of fire. So they have to do something about it. As opposed to like it just, I don't know, goes to the ground and comes back up or something. Maybe that's how you see it. But if you see it as moving around, then yeah, it should mechanically work like that. And I don't know, I think that was a good thing. And that, just making that change just to make the spell make more sense for how you are picturing it. Which is fine by me. Yeah, I know everybody in our party has great reflexes.
Yeah, so, it wasn't that big of a deal anyway. I think it was better that you could kill the Grick. Oh, yeah, but I think that snake monster was a Grick, which I think it's a D&D monster. I'm not sure if there's a Pathfinder equivalent of a Grick. It was weird. It was scary. I didn't know what it was. Silrona actually couldn't see the monster because it was like behind him, right? Like I got attacked behind. So then I just, since I'm aware of it, I guess Magic Missile just says like if you can draw a line to the creature and it's like it's there, then it just happens, right?
Right.
So Silrona let out a whole bunch of magic missiles to try to get this thing off his back. So I think it did, and then he was able to turn around and see it. Which is a little scary because like I don't want Silrona to ever be by himself. He's not made for that. As tough as he acts, he's still just a wizard. So he's like, his HP isn't very high and it's very easy to hit him. So he keeps finding himself alone. Maybe I think he got caught up in the hype. And I was like, there's only goblins in here. We'll be fine.
He's too cocky. That's what his problem is.
I know, he's too cocky of a cowboy.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. Comes with the hat.
Yeah. Comes with a hat. It's a lot of responsibility. Gotta keep up appearances, right?
So we managed to fight off this creature. We regrouped a bit. We learned there was another room ahead. We split up again, because of course we did. Because Bren wanted to do some looting. So I think Bren, Teeks, and Kavo went to another door. Bren and Teeks were looting and where they were. Fallon was at a separate door. And Silrona pulled aside a curtain, behind which he saw an altar and a goblin that seemed particularly well dressed and was flanked with a couple others, who was angered that the party had come and desecrated this area. Meanwhile, Fallon, as we're getting towards the end of the session, Fallon had opened another door, and in that room he saw a couple of bugbears, a wolf, a elf, and an unconscious dwarf, the unconscious form of Gundren. And although Fallon would not have known this bugbear was the same one that had captured Silrona not so long ago. So it seems everything is coming full circle.
That guy. That Silrona's gonna have to give him a word. It might be lightning bolt. That might be the word.
Yeah, that might be it. The verbal components of lightning bolt.
Yeah. So yeah, and that was really fun. It was a really fun session. Thanks to Tim to rerunning such an awesome game. I'm always excited to play.
Yeah. I don't know. I've said all I need to say about it. Like there's a couple of things that really stood out to me, but just again getting to be in Teeks' shoes for a bit. She's a really fun character to play. And that's a really fun game to play in. Yeah. And I want to see if we can handle this battle, because I don't know what that elf can do. I think we can handle the bugbears and the wolf and the goblins. Maybe all at once would be difficult, but I think we can do it. But I don't know what that elf can do, so.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten to a lot worse problems, I think.
Well, we've gotten into
maybe not
worse problems, sure.
Yeah.
It's the getting out that's the issue. But yeah, another great session. Unless we have anything else to say about that, we can also discuss our adventures in the Kadfael Academy.
Yes, Kadfael. Kadfael. The place where my character doesn't know who the principal is.
Yeah, was that a character thing or was that a you thing?
Both. It was both. And most things that I say at the table, I'm assuming that Grimes, my character, is actually saying. Like, so yeah.
So Kadfael Academy for the Adventuring Arts, wherein our friend Rebecca was running this game, and it was essentially taking. Essentially, the party was several students at this academy who were. This academy, and I wrote down like the locations and stuff. It's near a town that's sort of in the middle of a major trade route, so there's all sorts of markets and stuff going on. And it has this prestigious academy for, again, the adventuring arts, I guess, learning how to be heroes and help save the day and such. Unfortunately, the school it's so interesting to go from like finding this mysterious castle in the woods to this school is losing funding and may need to shut down soon if we can't figure out a way to save the school.
Stakes are way different than like a crazy fight with a bunch of goblins instead of a castle to being like, we can't. When the school had to cancel soccer this year because we didn't have enough funding.
No demon lady burning down the town. No ancient crown that can control dragons. But it's still a pretty big deal because this is where all our friends go.
Yeah. What's next? The mall? Oh man.
Oh no.
Like, the summer will be ruined, right? Like.
So, the way this session started off was with a recap slideshow that apparently Rebecca had stayed up late finishing off. I definitely want to show some parts of it, so I'll probably put some images up here if you're watching this. Well, I mean, you're obviously watching this on YouTube, but if you're actually watching it and not just playing it in the background, I'll probably put up some stuff here. But she gave us this recap of everything that came before, as well as seeing all the characters that we had seen before, such as the students, and giving some descriptions of their personalities and stuff. I tried to make notes of everything. I made the mistake of trying to sum up all the students in just like 1 or 2 words. They had like such in-depth backstories that I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to come back to this. But I have a page in my notes that's just the students and just the staff, so hopefully that'll be useful. But yeah, like it was just, that's what I really like about this game, having that cast of characters that can be pulled from and that we know and that we have all this history with. Particularly Bones, a student who is a skeleton.
He's just a skeleton. He doesn't talk much. I don't think at all. He can't actually talk because he's just a skeleton.
He's never said a word, but he's had the biggest impact on everybody's life.
I love Bones so much.
Yeah, he's like friends with everyone, and he's in drama, and he's in every club. He's in surfing also.
Yeah. It's because he's patient, right? He listens to everyone. So everyone likes Bones.
He's such a good guy.
He's a real good guy. So yeah, Kadfael. What I really want to like, it was nuts because we haven't played Rebecca's game in like 8 months, right? Something crazy like that. So it was really nice to get that refresher, and it was really fun because she, got images for our character, and like, as they came up, she like said a little bit about us and like said a little bit about all the NPCs and what's going on, and reintroduced like all these NPCs and plot points, and even like our last session, like how we became a part of like this secret club in the schools, try and save the school's funding, and all of our triumphs, right? Like how we like fought a broom and figured out a puzzle, which was a very clever like in real life puzzle that she gave us, and how me and our paladin hall monitor friend, our group member, both like decided to got tricked by a mimic who was a treasure chest.
Did the mimic trick you? The mimic didn't do anything. It was just there.
Listen, all right.
You both saw a treasure chest, and you both rushed to get it at the same time. And you just both got stuck to it at the same time.
Yeah, so yeah, I play a character called Grimes, who is a tiefling sorcerer with a demonic bloodline. So he's like, kind of, he's not like evil, but he's definitely like not good. He's not the greatest person.
He's the bad boy of the school.
Yeah. I mean, he's not even like the bad boy. He's like the trickster. Like he just has like, he's like always trying to prank people all the time and doesn't take things seriously, right? He's like, that kind of character. But then like, Payne's character, Arbitrarius, is a paladin. He's a knight of St. Corbin. He's a which we found out that they that they just call stuff Corbin this and Corbin like the Corbinero hot pepper, right? Like
that they make Corbin hot sauce with, but it's a favorite of Corbin, of course.
Yeah, of course. It's a part of it's the most specialist of Corbin's rituals is to eat hot sauce. That's how you stay pure and on the right path of Corbin.
Of course. That's how they test your mettle.
I think more players need to come up with their own religion,
right?
Their own deity. I think it'd be pretty funny. Yeah, and your character Artheon. He's an alchemist. He's also a half elf, which also plays into. I like everyone's story is like they all play into like who their parents are and their backgrounds. I think our that group is like it's like more heavily invested in like the people.
Yes,
in my opinion.
Yeah, because that is so much of the game. Like that is like Rebecca also had like these romance mechanics because that's such a heavy part of the game is the role play and the interpersonal connections. And who are we going to take to the school dance? I sure don't know. I mean, I know.
I don't think.
I know who I,
Grimes,
Calvin, want, but I don't know.
I don't even know if Grimes even likes anybody. Like, Grimes is kind of a shithead, so...
What about Grimes and Michaela? I thought they were tight.
No, Michaela just also gets into trouble a lot.
Is that not...
I know that Ramon doesn't like Michaela that much, but so then I think Grimes doesn't like Michaela that much. I'm like pretty... I'm like...
Well, that's what
Michaela's
I'm shipping,
okay.
So...
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we also have Scarlet. The last player character is Scarlet. I believe she's I wanted to say she's a witch, but I might be wrong about what class she's playing.
I think she's a sorcerer too, but she's a half vampire, I think undead sorcerer or fire sorcerer. I don't remember what the actual class is, but she's like playing the god. So we have the jock, the nerd, the rebel, and the goth is what our team drama is main cast is made out of.
It's so perfectly what it is that
So good. Just a real Breakfast Club group we got going.
So yeah, that was us, and we've been recruited by Professor Gary, who teaches the Adventurer's Toolkit to help save the school, and he's basically tasked us with going around and hopefully improving things to, prevent the school from closing. Helping people out, making it look good to investors. So what she gave us was, I hope I can get the image of this from her and throw it up on screen. It was first I have to mention the image of the school where she added the Kadfael Academy symbol on it. Again, I'm gonna put that image up, but she gave us the image of this bulletin board, and it had different postings on it, and this is something that I totally want to steal somehow, because it literally gave us the option. Like, there were different things on it. There's a carnival coming up. There's some stuff going on with the play. There's someone needs help in the cafeteria, and then there's some graffiti on it.
Yeah, she literally made like fake flyers to be on the fake bulletin board image.
Yes.
With thumbnails and everything.
Yeah.
And they were all like specific to like in-world stuff, which I thought was crazy. Like, even like the little things, like there's two drama kids that's in our school, and they're both competing with each other. They both have different ideas about drama. Like, one's more like activisty and is more willing to break the rules, while the other one is more we should more fine arts, more like we gotta
respect the classics,
the plays the way they're meant to be, classical, right? So he's more classically oriented, right? So they put on a production of Hamlet, but the name, it says Hamlet, right? Star actor is like the one character, and then the other character crossed out their name and put theirs. And it was like on the, again, this is a made up image of a bulletin board with a made up flyer that had a character crossing another NPC, an NPC crossing out another NPC's name, which I thought was like blew my mind. I was like, damn, the level of detail was crazy. Like,
yeah, it's such a minor character moment, like, for both of them, really.
Yeah, right. It really sets up like the next scene, essentially, right? There was another thing too where it was like there was a hurriedly like torn piece of paper reaching like, need help urgently, come to the cafeteria, from our cafeteria lady who is always in disarray.
Yes.
So like the fact that like the paper was even torn up and it was just like regular ass like yellow like scratching paper or whatever, like scratch paper, like it was such a good detail.
Yes.
Like the level of detail on this one image was nuts.
Yeah,
lost my goddamn mind.
It's just the way it includes like the character of the people who posted it. It's just such a, I don't know, it's such a well done thing.
Yeah,
it adds so much verisimilitude. Yes.
Then there was a flyer of a career day, which a bunch of like they had little pictures of classes. Yes. like right, it was like choose your career, right? Like go to the guidance counselor on this day or whatever. And there were just like all these little RPG classes, and I was like, stop.
It's too good.
I legitimately, like, from this one image, like, died inside a little bit. I was like, damn. Every time, like, it goes again. Like, Tim and Rebecca are the newest DMs that we're kind of helping out. They recently started, like, only like a year ago, and they're blowing the pants off of me every single time they do anything. I'm always just, like, so impressed with them, and I was like, these guys are pulling off stuff that, you know, I wouldn't even conceive in my first year of DMing. Like, like, I think it's great, and I love it so much, and I'm so happy that I get to play in their games.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. That's what I was saying at the opening, that we're so spoiled because we get to play in these incredible games, and just, I don't know, it's just such a privilege. I am so happy that we know so many awesome people. But let's talk about the actual game because we are running out of time.
Definitely. All right, let's do it.
So first stop was the cafeteria, where we met Sandy, the chef for the school, this halfling cook who's incredibly energetic, always moving, always on her feet, always doing something. But she had a major issue, and it wasn't, I don't know, demons spilling out of a portal. Someone had stolen some cookies, and we needed these cookies because they were supposed to go to Headmistress Celestia Ames, because she has a big meeting coming up with another investor, and you can't have a meeting without something to eat. But someone had stolen them. And so we ended up in this, it was more of a logic puzzle situation, because we had 4 different suspects, and they were each making different statements, but we knew that one of the statements was true, while the others had to be false. So, I believe it was Grimes, because it was you who sort of did the whole, end of a detective show, one more thing, here's how everything is solved kind of thing. But
yeah,
also,
it turns out Grimes was really smart.
Yeah, we had this whole lineup with 4 different characters, and of course some of them, like, we have different relationships to. Like, one of them was Artheon's rival, one of them was, this rogue, he gets into trouble. There's just, different characters that we know. So part of this was, as we were figuring this out and who actually committed the crime, Grimes for sure didn't want to accuse them because he wanted to put blame on someone else who we didn't like.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like he didn't like it, but he just, like, didn't want to rat somebody out who he knew, like, he did it. So, like, Grimes was just kind of like, Grimes went and explained, like, the whole logic behind each of their statements and why, like, this person is the person who would do it, and then immediately just said somebody else. Because I was like, this is totally what Grimes would do. Grimes would just prove to everyone that he's smart enough, but he won't rat anybody out.
And yeah, this is one of those things that was like, it wasn't a die roll, it was a puzzle that we as players had to logic out, which is a super fun and interesting thing to do. I did, that's something I want to do more of myself. I did it kind of briefly last session, and I for sure want to do more of that, because it leads to these awesome moments where you as the player figure something out, but then you have to deal with, well, how would my character react to what I just did here?
Yeah. Right. So, we all put it to a vote, and I got outvoted because obviously, like, so, we implicated the right person, and then I gotta kind of, I gotta shit with that person, Michaela, he was the other bad kid in the school other than me. And she's like, why you rat me out? And I was like, I didn't. I can't be wrong. Like,
So yeah, she'll remember that, and I don't know how she's gonna feel, man. You're ruining my ship.
Hey man, Grimes probably is pretty solo, actually. I don't actually think Grimes likes anybody. At least Grimes hasn't talked to everybody yet, but so far all the people Grimes has talked to, he's just like, like, not interested.
We did get a reward from this, from the chef. She gave us the options of different cookies. And so I was looking at the cookie list, and there's like chocolate chip, there's like oatmeal, there's peanut butter, there's bran and grain. And I was like, yeah, the nerd's gonna pick bran and grain, obviously.
The nerd's gonna pick bran and grain. It's the most nutritious.
Exactly. You gotta have your brain power. Gotta have your brain food. But what what Rebecca actually did is that these cookies have various bonuses. Using the stats from certain potions or some consumable or whatever, but like they give different bonuses. Like the one I got gave a bonus to speed. I don't recall what the other ones were because I wrote down mine.
One was like health, one was like fortitude, the other one was, I don't remember what the other one was, but they're all based off of the elixirs in Pathfinder 2e, which are different from potions. Potions just, I think they mimic spells to a certain level. I could be wrong, but elixirs are like kind of like an alchemical thing where they give like duration bonuses sometimes, where it's like you get bonuses to your fortitude for like 6 hours or something like that if you drink it, right?
Yeah.
I think we all ended up like holding on to our cookies because I didn't know when combat was going to start or whatever, right? And most of them were just like combat kind of related things. So
yeah, like I just
we all held on to our cookies.
Yeah. And I really liked I don't know, because it's still like in game mechanically it still works for everything, but it's just a cookie now. Like, it could be a potion bottle, but now it's a cookie and it does the thing. And I just, really love that we got this from this character. I'm going to hang on to this. It's going to come in handy at some moment in the future. I don't know when, but...
Yeah. I'm glad that Grimes didn't eat his cookie, because I got the HP one and I would have been sad. Like, immediately just... Nom, nom, nom. Oh. Nothing cool happened.
Yeah, no, those will come in handy later. I don't know. I really like them. So yeah, we got some cookies and we headed off to deal with the other thing on the bulletin board, which again, I really liked because it gave us the option of like, what do we want to deal with first? What seems like the most urgent thing? So we finished with one task and then we got to choose to go to another one, which we easily could have done first instead. But this was helping out the drama kids, Chance and Autumn, who were sort of arguing about how to put on this Hamlet play. And Bones was there, of course, because Bones was playing the role of Yorick, specifically Yorick's skull, because that was all he was doing in the play.
Man, that's so funny.
So Chance and Autumn, basically Chance wanted to play the whole thing like as written, like he wanted to do the classic interpretation of Hamlet. Autumn wanted to change things up by having herself play Hamlet and have a female Hamlet and sort of like, change the established order and things like that. They were arguing back and forth. I think it was suggested multiple times that Bones could play Hamlet, but Bones was too busy because he had too many things going on.
Too many extracurriculars. He's always in all the clubs all the time. So, yeah, we were no help. We were all just trying to pitch Bones as being Hamlet instead of both of them, which was not what they wanted.
Yeah, we were like specifically unhelpful when we first got there.
To be fair, I think we were unhelpful right up until I think you offhandedly mentioned that, like, hey, maybe you can both be Hamlet.
Yeah, because I thought of that, and I was like, no, Artheon wouldn't just say that. How can I communicate this idea as Artheon would do it? And then Artheon was just like, no, it's too bad you can't both be Hamlet. And then they were like, oh wait, that sounds like a good idea. And then I don't know, I thought it was funny to me. Artheon was still continuing like, yeah, sure, but it's too bad you can't do it.
Like he just couldn't figure out that he solved it himself. He just solved the problem that they're having. So yeah, then they just shoot us away, and I guess we're like, okay.
That's just how drama is. And Arbitrarius, the paladin hall monitor, was just like super confused by everything. So we all left. Although to be fair, we were all confused and all again very unhelpful.
Yeah, it was really well. I mean, specifically, Grimes was not being helpful.
Grimes going out of his way to be unhelpful.
Yeah, definitely. To make the situation way worse because it's funnier that way.
Scarlet also at that moment did get to catch up with Bones because they are dating. I guess that's what some of the graffiti was. Scarlet and Bones forever.
Yeah. So Scarlet's dating Bones. Oh my god, that I think is hilarious. Bones also spent all summer with everybody except for Scarlet, because we all because like Rebecca asked us like, hey, what do you guys do during summer break? And I was like, we're all just hanging out with Bones the entire time.
Yeah, we all ended up making up a story that involved Bones somehow.
And then because Abby was last, she was like, I guess I didn't spend any time with Bones. That kind of sucked. I was hanging out with you guys.
But yeah,
so
after we helped out at the drama class, oh my gosh, this game. After we helped out at drama class, Professor Gary ran into us with some urgent news. Apparently, Celestia Ames's garden was in a bit of a mess. So he sent us off to, help deal with that. And what we ended up seeing there was that there was, the plants were in disarray. There was this rotten odor, I should say. And we saw there a bunch of little creatures running around throwing seed pods. And at first we thought they were hostile because we didn't know what leshies were. So
they were cute, so I was like, maybe these guys aren't bad. Like immediately, like in my gut, I was like, maybe
oh really?
These guys aren't bad.
That is not what I thought.
The pictures of leshies they're terribly cute little things. So it's like they have little orange peel hats. Like how can that be evil?
Yeah, I thought they were just like troublemakers or something. Like they were just being mischievous, not trying to be evil, but.
I don't know, I think Ramon, I have a hard time with cute things. So if I see it, I'm like, that thing's fun.
If I see cute, then I assume they're up to something. So we were up there, and a couple of people, I think Scarlet and Arbitrarius, was it, that had gone up and started to attack these things?
Yeah, Scarlet was trying to grab them and put them in a sack or something, and Arbitrarius was also trying to spook them or attack them or something. And then we had an NPC who I forget who's the NPC.
Ian, one of the twins of the pair of Ian and Iris. Ian being a druid who is I think he also does potions and stuff, but just more natural based ones. He ran up because apparently he helps take care of the garden and takes care and is friends with all the leshies there, and he pointed out that they were injured, and he took them away just to get them healed up in the hospital wing of the school. Because he did not seem very, very happy with us, but we said we'd help out here deal with this thing. So immediately a couple of us moved to sort of investigate the rose bushes that lined this garden, and there we found some creatures, these massive tentacle plant creatures that burst up out of the rose bushes, set to attack us, that apparently had the ability to let off some sort of plant ooze that would get stuck to us and slow us down. And then we had to start fighting these things. And as we did, I know I got stuck. I don't know what's up with my character. I think I need to rebuild him, because I was going for a Jekyll and Hyde sort of thing, where he has a potion that can turn him into a monster, but his strength is still low, so he's not really a very good monster.
Yeah, he's not very good at being a werewolf man. It was really funny because you turn into a werewolf man, and then the paladin was in the middle because I think the initiative order, and then he was like, maybe I'll go help out Grimes, and I was like, no, go help up Artie because he sucks at being a werewolf.
He really does. I get the D6 of damage, but I'm also that's all I get. I took Arbitrarius' crossbow, and that was better to use. So I was basically standing there waiting for my potion to run out because it reduces my AC. I can use my attacks.
Yeah, so the fight kind of goes on. The chat of Arbitrarius being a paladin who is also a pretty decent strength just kind of walked up and started slapping the crap out of this thing. They weren't hard to hit. They just did they could have done a lot of damage. They were kind of crappy. Grimes has a focus spell. I think it's called Gluttonous Jaw or Maw, and he basically just turns his mouth into this shadowy, basically hole of teeth, and he's able to just eat things.
Yeah.
And every time he takes an attack, he gets some temporary HP, which I think is awesome. I was I don't know why I haven't played the sorcerer before.
Yeah,
but this ability kicks ass.
That is great for a first level focus spell. But I guess you only get one a day, right?
Well, it's focus.
Or it's a focus spell,
focus
so
point.
one focus. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But you regain focus points when you take a 10-minute rest. So basically, it's if you don't do back-to-back encounters, you could probably keep using them every encounter. But yeah, you pop it off, and then I just start gnawing on stuff, and then Scarlet came up and was blasting her with her magic, and then eventually this this Leshy kind of came in who looked like he was dressed like a knight, but only instead of armor it was like leaves.
Yeah. This Leshy rushed in with its orange peel helmet and started helping us fight off this creature. So we were fighting a couple of them. Artheon and Arbitrarius and the Leshy were fighting one. Grimes and Scarlet were fighting the other. Scarlet may have started a bit of a fire.
May have, she did. She like burning hands, but the rose bushes were all dead and dry, so just everything caught on fire. So this fire was raging, and then like Grimes had to like stomp out the fire with like his body because Grimes doesn't feel pain apparently. So he like ran into an on fire rose bush to stomp out the fire with his body, which was fine. I think we ended up downing both of the plant monsters, but then our Leshy Knight went to the third one and was attacking them that we didn't notice before, so we would have just left.
Yeah, tragedy struck as the knight went to help deal with like he moved position to go with the other creature that wasn't just dead just yet. And he ended up getting the attention of a third one that had been hidden that we didn't know of, and it leapt out and it landed a crit on its attack. And it unfortunately killed this knight by the name of Sir Leshalot, as we learned afterwards.
Sir Leshalot, no. So sad. But the party took care of that all together, kind of tag teamed it.
We rallied together.
Was able to,
use some cool abilities and stuff like that to take care of this creature, and then we just Arbitrarius was able to recover like the seed pod of this creature and replanted it, and that is when the headmistress arrived, and I kind of expected to be. I don't know. I thought we would be in trouble because it's the headmistress who shows up next to a potential investor and then sees us in the middle of the garden with like remains of several creatures and a fire and the damage in the garden. But she was just like overwhelmed by everything going on.
I thought it was detention for us for sure, dog, but apparently not.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, not yet. So, we learned some stuff about the potential investor. We saw him, and Scarlet made a comment about how he has I guess a pet hawk or an eagle or something, and she's like, that dude's evil because he is a bird.
All your dudes had birds. So yeah, we saw a guy by the name of Arlen Crane of Crane Co., one of the logos that we had seen earlier on the Carnival advertisement for the bulletin board. He was in the middle of having a conversation with the headmistress. He said his goodbyes as he moved on. He mentioned that they were going to be family soon, which is a very interesting plot point. I wonder where that's going. And as he walked off, there was a hawk that arrived and kind of like followed him, which I guess Scarlet took to mean that he was definitely a bad guy. Which, I mean, to be fair, that does seem like a bad guy move now that you think about it. Having a bird.
Yeah, it's kind of a flex, right? Like, but yeah. And then our principal, who I just learned her name today, like the one we played, didn't really scold us. She was like, "Yo, it's fine, just get out of here."
And so we did. We moved on to the cafeteria. We met up with Ian again and shared the news with him. And then the session finished off with a rather somber end, as we had a ceremony for the fallen Sir Leshalot, as he was sort of, I guess, replanted in the garden to be taken care of. And I don't know how Leshies work. I don't know if he's going to grow again or if it will be a different one from his seeds.
It's like a baby Groot situation. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where that session ended. Just with this thing for Sir Leshalot, and I don't know, like that everything about that game is just so, it just fits so well with the genre, and it's just so weird that it's like, it's a Pathfinder game, but it's so different from all the other Pathfinder games that we play. Just like Tim's game is different from all other Pathfinder games that we play. I don't know, man. Again, super spoiled.
Yeah, super spoiled. And again, it kind of shows you that, like, you know, everyone has their own style, and everyone's games is going to be unique, and put your own spin on it, and it's going to be tons of fun. So just jump behind that screen and get your damn friends around the table and be like, we're playing D&D tonight, or Pathfinder, or Lancer, or Mutants and Masterminds, or whatever you guys genre you want to do. You guys should be running your own games and having that kind of fun. And that's like the whole point of this podcast.
Yes.
It's make more DMs, GMs, and all those people.
Yeah, basically that is the entire point of this podcast. That's why I like to talk about our previous games and stuff, because I want people to enjoy those stories. I want them to be into those stories, and I want them to take that and then make their own stories, because there's just something about this kind of game. Yep.
Yeah, you could even say that, you know, we want them to win with dice. Oh!
Ooh! No, we can't say that yet. That's the catchphrase for the end of the show. Ramon.
No, damn it. I'm sorry. But I think we're here, though.
Yeah, we kind of are.
We are at the end of the show. Thanks for listening, folks.
Gosh, yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to say at this point. Just really enjoyed those games run by our awesome friends, and hopefully, you know, we said some interesting things that you might want to try in your games, like the visual aids or something like that. Those were really cool. Hopefully I can pop some of those up so you see what they looked like. And of course, you know, if you feel a need to change a rule on how a spell works because it makes more sense to you that way, feel free to go ahead and do that. And yeah, that's all we have to say about those games. I think we can go into the outro unless you want to add another thing.
No, we're good to go. Thanks for listening, guys. If you want to support our channel, please give us a subscribe, like the video, comment down below. Any sort of interaction to help us out in the YouTube algorithm we appreciate that, and it's all free. You don't have to do anything but just kind of give us your support.
For sure, and also ring that notification bell so you get a notification when we upload new episodes, and follow us on social medias. Also, shout outs so I don't forget. I wrote them down this time. I want to shout out, of course, again. We'll probably keep doing this for a bit. Field Guide to Umfukane, the Lancer add-on module that's been recently released. I'll put a link to it in the description where you go check it out, download the PDF as well as the LCP file so you can add it to CompCon if you're a user of that. And if you're playing Lancer, you should be a user of that, really. So you can use that to try out all the different, all the new stuff that's been included in there, and be sure to read it and check it out, because I think it is a really interesting story. It's probably it was the first Lancer thing that I gave a deep dive read into, because I read the Lancer's books after that. So be sure to check it out, because I think it's a very interesting story. As well, I want to give a shout out to the Untold Stories Project, where I am there every week on Mondays playing Mutants and Masterminds, which will be today for me, day of recording, because we're recording this on Monday. But yeah, I'm having a whole lot of fun over there on that game. My character is being shipped with a whole lot of characters, and I found out some secrets about one of the NPCs that my character went on a date with this NPC and then found out some very stunning secrets about her, and there might be some stuff going on. And then also there was a car chase, which I was really excited for because it was very Fast and Furious. So if you want to go see how that went, be sure to check out that episode. And I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything else to say for people to go check out. But check out our website, lumendice.ca.
Yes, that one. Yeah, I think we're good to tie a little bow on this episode, and yeah.
Okay, well, here is the bow. It is for everybody who is listening out there to remember to keep on winning with dice, and we will see you next week.
See you guys.